Hey guys, it's Cyborgmatt here at the Columbus Convention Center for MLG Columbus. I'm joined here by Blitz and Purge to get their thoughts on today's actions from MLG. Now first things first, Blitz, you joined a new team that was announced this month, Team FOU, and you'll be moving over to Korea very soon. When do you actually go to Korea?
I leave on Thanksgiving Day, the 28th of this month.
Okay, and in terms of what you're expecting over there and your inspections going to Korea and the scene over there, are you looking forward to it?
Very much so. My main feeling is kind of nervousness. I really want to do well. FOU is kind of picking me up sight unseen. I kind of did negotiations with them without them actually like knowing what my skill level was and stuff. So there's like a lot of blind trust involved. So more than anything, I just don't want to disappoint anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a very new scene, so I mean, with you going over there, I think you'll fit in nicely. I don't think you have to worry about that. And of course, we're joined here by Purge. Now, MLG Columbus, this is a pretty big event for America. In terms of, just because we don't really have that many LAN tournaments over here, what are your first impressions of the venue and the event?
I've been to other MLGs before, and they're always really nice. I think they're treating Dota very well. The prize pool has been solid, largely because of the contribution thing. They have the secret shop, and a lot of the features are very, very good. I mean, it's not going to be as special as the International, but I think that's almost impossible to match. So I'm pretty happy and content. It's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is really hard to match the International with it. Obviously, Val behind that, a lot more manpower behind it. But in terms of a first show, it has been very good. Now, this morning, we saw DK come rolling out the gate with some really strong results. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't expect DK to be so impressive like that. I mean, I'm asking you, were you surprised about DK's results this morning?
Yeah, when people had asked me what my top three were, I honestly responded. I thought Alliance would get first, Na'Vi would get second, and I thought Liquid would get third. DK in the Eastern scene has been kind of wishy-washy. Like, they're not bad by any means, but they seem just kind of middle of the pack. Alliance had gone over and they had played in Korea. They lost them 2-0 pretty badly, right? And so I thought, well, Alliance looks a lot stronger. DK might look a little bit weak going into this tournament. I thought they would still get top 5 at least, but I didn't think that they would dominate as hard as they did. But I think actually what made them win was smart drafting. What makes Alliance very strong is that everyone plays 3 or 4 core heroes, right? Like, you know, everybody has like a signature hero. And what makes them good is that they don't have to adapt. People have to adapt to them. But when they do adapt to them, it's easy to do because you can just study them relentlessly, right? And you're like, oh, they like to pick these combinations of heroes. If you saw their game against DK, they got every hero that they normally get, minus like the gyro is kind of iffy. But aside from that, I think it was just DK strategizing really smartly. They were like, oh, we lost in Korea. Well, these are the adjustments we have to make in the draft.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is really surprising. I mean, now that DK's got the ball rolling, I think, okay, it's day one. They've only got these couple games under the belt, but it is a very strong showing to start off with. And beating Alliance and Team Liquid, 2 major teams at this event, it is sets a stage for a potential upset or surprise here. Now, in terms of sticking with Team DK, before MLG Columbus, what do you think their main issue was? What were they struggling with? Was it mainly just the introduction of 6.79, or?
That's kind of what it seemed like, at least, because they were doing very well prior to that patch. And once the patch came along, they stopped being the completely dominant team. Maybe they got something and figured something out in the last week, but at least the games that I watched, it really did seem like a bit of an outdraft. So Team Liquid did get some heroes picked off as well, but I don't know, maybe DK just really got their drafting together. They planned out what the other teams are planning to do, and from that they can force them into bad lane situations, which allows them to play their game fully and prevent Team Liquid or whoever else from like at least breaking out of the laning stage with an even game.
All right, I completely agree about that. And finally, to round things off, in terms of predictions now, you just gave your pre-MLG Columbus Day 1 predictions. What about now, after you've seen some of the teams in the showing? We saw Sigma beat Na'Vi, we've seen Team DK come out smashing the gate. So what are your top 3 now?
I think this kind of play, the best of 1 round robin, favors a team like Sigma. So seeing how they played against Na'Vi, I actually think they can get top 3. Maybe not top 2, but I think 3rd is very reasonable for them. They're a really unpredictable team, and playing a best of 1, it's really hard to adjust to a team like that. Normally in a best of 3, you might drop a game to them and then you regroup, right? But they're a really smart team where they come prepared. So I think Sigma could get 3rd, and I still believe in Alliance, but I think by the way that Sigma looked against Na'Vi, if we're just going off those games, I think Alliance will still finish first, and I think DK takes second.
Okay. I mean, Sigma, they're a pretty new organization. They only recently got announced, and the only reason they're here is because actually Team Dignitas pulled out of the event, so Sigma was invited as a 9th team as a replacement, very last minute, and they've been really impressive so far, so it's going to be really interesting to see where they go. Now, in terms of your top 3, after day 1, well, before day 1 wraps up, who would you say?
I don't know, everything's in such a huge state of flux right now. Like, different teams have beaten other teams who have beaten other teams, so it's kind of a giant mass of we don't really know what's going to happen just yet. And I also haven't really seen group stage scores other than a couple reported verbally, so I really am not so sure at the moment. I think Fnatic has the potential to do really well. Sigma has beaten Na'Vi now, so they have a huge potential as well. There's just like so many different people and so many different teams that could perform really well and end up taking top 3, so I really don't know, honestly.
And in that case, then, pre-Columbus starting, before you even came to the event, who would you say your top 3 would have been?
I said the same as Blitz, Alliance, Na'Vi, and Liquid, possibly, but maybe a 3rd. But I don't know, it could be DK top 3. I could see that very likely, considering how well they've done so far.
Yeah, I've heard those 3 in the top 3 predictions quite a bit today. Now, just before we finish off, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give? Anyone you'd like to thank? Your new team, your new sponsors?
Yeah, shout out to FOU for picking me up. That means a lot that they would trust in my ability to kind of just pick me up sight unseen. Shout out to my girlfriend Corinne, shout out to EGM, shout out to Purge. I know he's there, but these are like my standard shout outs. And shout out to the BTS crew and Aosin back at home.
And for you, where can they find you, Purge, and any shout outs?
Go follow me on social media at Purge Gamers, both Facebook and Twitter, and you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/PurgeGamers.
All right, thanks guys. Coverage here at MLG Columbus will continue all throughout the weekend, so don't forget to stick with us. Thanks.